Okay, so big issue is the phone, the smartphone, and young people, how to navigate the online waters. What are you seeing on the ground in your school?
Yeah, definitely there are issues around the use or the misuse of digital devices, mobile phones especially. It seems that a lot of students get them as a present, perhaps upon completion of primary school, as a kind of a reward, and it's handed to them, and unfortunately they can't navigate correctly, and they get into a lot of bother then very early on, because, as I say, they're trying out all these new apps and so forth, and all of a sudden they find themselves in a bit of trouble. And it's certainly the amount of time they spend, screen time, is huge compared to perhaps what they need to do so. And I suppose, as always, I'd be asking parents to be very vigilant around their use of the phone.
Yeah.
You can't just give a child a phone and say, there you go, you're 12, 13 years of age now, well done, you've completed primary school, and off you go. The use of the phone has to be managed, and we're finding there are issues are emerging around cyberbullying, for example.
One out of 3 young people are cyberbullied. So how would that manifest itself, or how would that impact a young person today?
Well, I suppose the misuse of Snapchat is a big issue that pops up. Instagram, Facebook, comments, etc., etc. It seems to almost, as somebody mentioned, it's a form of banter nowadays, that to slag off somebody or to mention or to say something that puts somebody in a negative light, and it seems then there's a group chat dynamic where people all of a sudden join in, and all of a sudden you've got this forum where it's okay to slag off somebody or anything about them, which is totally unacceptable. And obviously, as a school, a Christian Brothers school, Christian Brothers College here, we have values, and there's certainly, we have to, I suppose, put in a bit of etiquette around the misuse of the phone. And you don't put online what you wouldn't say.
And there's almost like 2 different personalities. There's the online, and then there's this kind of digital personality.
Yeah, we're seeing that you're almost like an alter ego in some cases, where to look at a student, you think everything is fine and looks good and doing well in school, etc., etc. But then there might be an online presence that all of a sudden emerges through whatever reason, and all of a sudden you see a different facet to that individual.
So what message would you give to parents?
I think vigilance is hugely important, not to just hand over a phone, but to you have to build up a relationship. Parenting doesn't stop at the end of primary school. You keep going right up to the end of secondary school. So it's very important that trust dynamic is there, that you can trust your child, that they use the phone appropriately and correctly, to keep in touch with their child, no harm to check out what apps they're on, whether Snapchat, Instagram. That you have to be vigilant. You have to trust your child, but in order to build up that trust, you have to have that relationship with that child that continues beyond primary into post-primary, and that they're open and receptive. And in some cases, you have to police that phone.
And what you were saying, your digital footprint, what goes online stays online. So for future employers.
Employers now are asking at interviews, and rightfully so, is there anything in your digital background from years ago that might compromise your role in a job. We're trying to reinforce the message to the boys that once you go online, it stays up there forever and ever, and not to think that it's gone and it's just disappeared, and to be mature in their approach. You see, it's something that they have to learn in time, that you speak online to people as you would face to face, in a nice, in a respectful manner, in a tolerant manner, and you cannot join the mob who decide all of a sudden, let's have a pop at this guy today and a pop at that guy tomorrow because he did this, and this kind of stuff has to stop. It's rampant. It's a problem in all schools, primary and post-primary, and it's something that schools are dealing with and happy to do. In our case, we're happy to deal with it. But again,
you have a phone ban here during the day.
We have a phone ban. They don't need the phones, and the phones, they're allowed to bring them in, but they're not used, and that's fine. I've no problem. We've no issue with that. But the issue is that we want parents to work alongside parents to say, look, we'll do our bit, parents do their bit, to keep an eye that when your child leaves, say, post-primary school, that they're in a position that they know what a respectful environment is. They also have the antenna there to pick up when something isn't so good, and to step away from it, to step back, whether it's a forum that's online bullying or slagging or negative comments, any form of negative connotations. Step back. It's not your place, and to try and get them into this isn't the norm. It's abnormal to behave in that manner, and they're down the line they just don't know the effects it could have on people as well. Comments, throwaway comments can affect people, especially young people in their adolescence phase of life.
That's brilliant, Gerry. Respect, tolerance, the key message, and to step back. So thank you for your time today. Thank you.
Okay.